The games are about to begin. You're watching Butler Esports.
So now, the game that you were waiting for, the game that we wanted to see initially, St. Clair taking on UMBC. We are going to get to see it. We didn't get to see Nighthaven. That map ended up 7-4 victory for UMBC. So, St. Clair, the Brick Esports, the new rising stars, taking on UMBC, the collegiate old guard. Who is going to win map 2? And my friend, can't believe it, but we're going to layer again.
Layer. Let's go. New map, who dis? And it's coming at you in a best of 2 style. I'm excited for it. We're going to see some fun stuff out there. And I challenged the players before we got into this game. I challenged them, bring something different. Bring something fresh. I didn't necessarily mean layer, but that works. We'll get there. There's going to be some fun stuff in that.
Yeah, I can't believe we get the opportunity to cast layer twice on LAN. Really, this is doubling our count in casting layers so far. This will be the 4th time total, so it's going to be great. On this UMBC side, we've got Joe. We cast him several times as part of Fenz's aura during the NAL Open Qualifier playoffs. We got to see him play as part of the Fluffy Aimer squad, filling in a perennial favorite. And same on the St. Clair side. Got some great players there as well. Terror and Swifted. Man, this is going to be a matchup of all time. And now that we know, right, we're going to start off with this UMBC St. Clair, not knowing who sort of had the edge going into this game everyone was waiting for. Now we know that UMBC took the first 7-4 on Nighthaven. So it's a huge map. Very similar to Lair, huge map here. Just, the difference is teams haven't had nearly the same time to play, right? We've been playing Nighthaven for years. Lair, brand new. And I love it. Oh, yeah. Seasons. We'll go, seasons.
Yeah, it's new, it's fresh, and it's going to bring some new perspective to the table. It's expanding, right? So an investment in the roam game is going to be absolutely essential, providing opportunities for operators like Vigil, obviously, right? We've seen Vigil be incredibly impactful, especially lately, that Boss G just being absolutely dramatic. But what I'm hoping to see, right, is like maybe some introduction of the Cav being brought out, right? Give us an interrogation. But for sure, what you can guarantee is the investment in the roam game is going to be heavy, right? And potentially even like more than 2 or 3 people offsite. The extensions upstairs, it still has that verticality that's brought to it, and it's huge. I expect to see some of that in the bans as we get into, right? Last time, was it Deimos that was taken off the board for that roam game clear?
Yeah, now I need to go back and check because I can't remember who it was exactly on Lair, because you're right. The way that the bans go changes up the way that the map is played out for sure. So on that last one, when we saw Cincinnati taking on KSU, Monty, Deimos, Azami, and Scopos was the list that we saw, and that was a 7-2 victory for Cincinnati. So, again, heavily defensive sided, with Cincinnati winning 4 to start it off, and then 3 on the attack though. So I mean, it could definitely go that way. Jackal and
lost you. Monty lost you. Yeah. So Jackal and Monty taken off the board. That's one of them is a surprise. One of them not so much, right? The Monty, of course, is the obvious ban. We see him banned out everywhere. And then Jackal, we knew it was going to be some sort of roam finder, whether it was going to be the Dokkaebi, the Deimos. Jackal wasn't going to be in my top 2 for sure as picks that go out, but he's great at clearing, right? He can throw his gadget on. He can look into a room and tell if somebody's been there recently, and that clears whole floors out very, very quickly. It's Lair, baby. UMBC taking on St. Clair. The defensive bans, Fenrir, Valkyrie. You know the deal. You can't push through the purple smoke, and the intel and opportunities from Valkyrie just unparalleled, especially with those camps. So take it up to the 2F location to start us out. Let's talk about the defense.
That's right. The defensive side, the Mira, the Malusi, and Azami. She was one of the ones that was banned out, but it seems like a perennial favorite here on the 2F for Lair we're going to see the bandit, right, needing to hold on to those two walls in the master mask area. You have to spend a significant investment to keep those ones closed, because that prevents the push in from courtyard, that prevents the push in from the operational side. So you need that. And I think sometimes we're seeing teams bring the double breach denial, but for sure it seems like bandit is going to need to be a part of that setup.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you couple it with the mirror. I think you're right though. The highlight player for the defense that was left through the ban phase is going to be the Azami and potentially the Scopos, right? Scopos is a great pick for this because you can hide that player in some really off areas. Ooh, first one is going to be Clutter taking Terror off the board. That's a headshot that is able to find the body bounce tipped into UMBC's favor quite early on. But the Scopos, right? Because you can go hide that person or hide that robot and then bring it up on the flank. If you don't know every area of this map, there are several places that you could get that into to really facilitate a flank.
There, we're seeing love seeing the Brava come in and start stealing utility. I think they got one of those Malusi traps, potentially more. Still, one more Clutch drone left available. And one of the highlights on the attacking side, right, we're seeing Striker. This may be the first time we've seen Striker all day today being played in at least the games we've cast. And I don't remember seeing Striker on many of the other rounds as well. So even though I feel like we saw a lot more of the new blood recruits entering into the meta during the open qualifiers, really hasn't entered into the collegiate scene. So a little bit of the difference in the way that this meta is set up. But one of the things that is the same, the shield meta, walking in Malusi. Boy, Jox just did not realize that Joe was right there in her face, able to take down a double in a 5v1.
That's right. So Clutter to find 2, Clutter to find 3. Let's call it a flawless round, as they're not going to take one single death on the side of the attack pushing in. Absolutely huge round. Joe on the blitz just being an agent of chaos, creating those opportunities and forcing the plays in the back. So chalk one up for UMBC as they've got the momentum still rolling in their favor.
Yep, flawless round as well. So now going to go back. I mean, I still think that 2F Master continues to be the primary site. That's the favorite. So in this case, so St Clair says, don't worry, we're going to run it back, try and find a different way to approach that site from the defensive side. Well, if they stopped Blitz in that case, right, sometimes Blitz gets stopped early in his tracks. Joe doesn't get that double. This is a very, very different round. So from a setup perspective, though, basically the same. Looks like they're going to run that same operator lineup back, bringing out that bandit, bringing out the combination of the mirror, try and help hold on a little bit tighter this time around.
That's right. And, you know, it's not so much an ego check as it's the must win, right? It's the primary site. It's the one you feel the most comfortable taking on. So play it back. You trust into the gameplay and the counter strats that you bring to the table. Now you know how aggressive they're going to be here on layer. You can find a way to adapt and redirect. So going to see a similar lineup on the attack. And by similar, I mean, I think it's the exact same, right?
Yeah, both of these teams running it back, right? Even though you see the adaptation, you see the change in strategy, and how close are these two to each other? Holy cow. Azami just running past the door. I don't know how Terror survived that at all. Wow.
We call that blessed, baby. Yeah, he got blessed on that one. So we still remain 5-5 as they're able to rotate back, still holding on to that 2F location now as everybody has rotated back up site. No people downstairs, so that's going to be no C4s to be had from the vertical, at least from the bottom up.
That's right. So you still got the Mirror still got it, Bandit still got it. Gonna hold on, see if they can't find it. And that is the bulletproof is down already. So the C4s, yeah, where are they going to come from? Can you get one in as they open up some of these sight lines? Maybe expecting the hard breaches, made Ace to do his job, open up one of those sight lines, toss a C4 right in his face. Love getting to see that happen. And you still have the Cludge drone. KZ still holding on to that, waiting to steal some more of this utility. And there you hear that first Ace charge come out. So opening up one of these first sight lines in, and I thought that was the mirror window he had gone for, but Swifted going to take down Chase.
That's right. So put him on the board as his first kill rings out here in round number 2. That's going to give the body balance over to St. Clair. Got a C4 out for that smoke. Going to send it deep, see if he can catch one. A little bit of fish in there. Doesn't seem to ring out just yet. No explosions to be had, so they're going to go ahead and just throw in another smoke. A little bit more of that distraction, right? A little bit more of that force him to look, and he almost pays the price for it. A little bit of damage done onto the ash there as the blitz makes his way in through the window into the bathroom area. So the push up, looking to get active towards that mirror window, but no smokes to push him off, and now they're gonna keep him inside with those Kiva barriers since to rotate around. Looking to find one on the backside, pistol popping, body dropping. Joe gonna find one, looking for another, not gonna find him there, so he gets reduced to that 12 HP now. C4 rings out, could be something devastating. Nope, not gonna happen. Did he? Was that C4? Did he shoot that?
He did, yeah. The C4 got caught on the door frame, able to take it down. That mezzanine area, this defense trying to hold on tight. You saw Malusi rotate around from the operational side over to the bathroom side, just preventing this attacking team from gaining any bit of ground. Now we've wasted a ton of time. It's a 2v2 with 10 seconds left.
Right, and they do have the diffuser in hand. It's a low health scenario on both of the attackers, and it's going to be Ash get taken down. Chalk it up. Jock's going to find 2 of them.
A double quick bounce back and forth between them, and there it is. Get to see St. Clair take one. Back and forth. That's exactly what the people want to see in this case. These two titans of the collegiate scene doing battle here at the LAN in front of a little bit of a crowd. You know, some of the if you're in the Indianapolis area, want to swing by the Butler Esports Arena. We've been waving at all the crowd passing by, hearing the cheers. What's going on backstage?
That's right, and it is electric here, folks. The atmosphere is insane. I absolutely love it. So, what are we going to do? St. Clair are going to find themselves on a little bit of a fun strat here. I enjoy what we're seeing. Vigil on the board, right? But he's not rocking the Boss G. I love that. I don't like the Boss G whiskey. I think it's a goated killer. The damage is huge and it's high. But in that scenario where you're finding yourself in a 1v2 and a 1v3, you know, it's just going to be tougher to get that job done. So send him on the roam and get him active with the AR. Couple that with the cap can and not knowing the map as well, introducing it early on into the map. This is a good defense.
Yep, caused this UMBC team to maybe slow it down a bit, right? We saw the blitz make the push in. We saw Joe go crazy so far playing that op, but the first time he runs into one of those cap can traps or identifies that they're there, and this time they don't have a Brava to bring along to try and counter the cap can, that's for sure going to slow down that push, slow down the way that UMBC was trying to take map control. This time, playing in the basement, though, so definitely a change up in the strategy. We saw that second floor both times around to start this thing off. So now we got a pretty decent roam coming out from the St. Clair defense, though. You got Bandit upstairs on the 2F, along with Mute in R6. We talked about that R6 room being a really important hold point as part of the defense on these lower sites to gain some vertical control over top of really both that bunk site and some of the vertical that you're going to need for the basement attack.
Yep, Clutter going to find his life forfeit in that little 1v1 battle there, and that's going to be Finka. That's the global gadget gone. No more help to be had, and Buck really wishing that he had a little bit of that right now. So the body bounce does sit in the favor of the defense here as they find themselves a second. Swift to take Joe off the board and a couple of body shots that ring out. Ram a little bit of damage, but Ace really being the one that has, both of them now put onto that low health scenario. Chase going to find a shotgun kill onto Corey, and that's going to take the first kill for UMBC here in round number 3.
Okay, Chase finds another and evens up that body count. We've got a minute left. Plenty of time for these three to try and set up, get themselves in place. You've got the Ace. You've got the Nomad, a little bit of flank watch. You still have some utility, at least I think. With those cards not expanded, it's a little bit tough to tell. But we know right now, Ram opening up that vertical plus. Got that Ace, was prime prepped and ready to open up the hatch to start putting some vertical pressure down on these three remaining defenders who are playing on site I don't think we've seen any damage come out from the cap cans yet, but so far it's at least keeping them a little bit at bay. And now you've got 30 seconds left to try and deal with it.
That's right. And with the 30-second push, we're going to start to see him take that space, pushing into the A site area, looking to catch anybody on the cross, rotating back. They've got the pings out, so a little bit of intel. And that's going to be Ace taken down as Terra's going to find him. Now puts us into a 3v2. The attack team finds themselves on a bit of the back foot. Terra on the second. Terra looking for a third, but Swifted going to be the one to take it. It's body shots and body drops as defense is able to hold on.
Okay, I mean, we think about, we talked in the setup, the last time we got a chance to cast Lair, right, in that Cincinnati game, they won, it was a 4v2 defensive half, so sort of set ourselves up for it, saw UMBC come out really strong that first time, that flawless round, scale it back a little bit, you know, and St Clair winning the second round, but this one felt a little bit more defensive sided, so as we've gone along, it almost feels like UMBC losing a little bit of steam. I'm not going to say that that's, you know, that they're losing anything significant here, because this is still a very close map, and we certainly expect this one to go back and forth between the two. Now we get to see the bunks set up. So this is that first floor site. For sure, I expect we're going to see this defense up in the R6. You can see it already. Mute set up there, and Legion and Azami. They're going to spend a lot of time upstairs trying to protect that vertical, because that main breach right where Bandit is right now, setting up and holding, that's the push point we're going to see. Joe playing the Maverick, getting that drone set up and ready to try and, you know, prevent this. But the key is they're going to have a little bit of vertical control back from the defense to be able to make that work, because we've seen the vertical completely shut it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know who's surprisingly absent for a map this size is that, like, roam clear, right? It's for sure going to be something. I guess it's because it's so dedicated to that 2F, right, that you're not having, say, the Vigil or the Cav going out and making some of those plays on the flank and waiting till the end of it. You know you have to take vertical, so that's where the pressure is going to be at. And on the side of the defense, it is going to be kind of a similar lineup that we've just been seeing the whole time, because the first two rounds were on the second floor on the second floor, and then they still had that second floor presence up there for this one as well. Then it's going to be a couple of similar lineups for sure.
So I look at this there, they've got it open, and there goes the Thermite to blast the rest of it. So now they've got plenty of opportunity to get themselves in. But you got the Ash playing upstairs in op. That's on the other side of the map from where R6 is, trying to make that vertical push over. It ran outside, and wow, the trade coming out. KZ, Kinger trading early, or between these two. Not going to gain any advantage on either side, but that big piece of the wall open on the UMBC side, that's what they need. And now taking some shots vertically, that's the hold that they've got to shut down there from Legion playing upstairs in R6.
Oh, and that's going to be Corey to take down Joe through the body shots, puts the body balance in the hands of St. Clair here. Has still got plenty of time left on it for this attack team to work, but the pressure going to start to mount. It's going to be Thermite opening up the backside now as well. So multiple breaches have been opened, which means the crossfire can be in place. The zombie getting a little bit active on the 90 there. I'm going to go ahead and back off and put him back into that medical area. And now they don't have to throw any bodies, right, Whiskey? All they got to do is kind of sit back and play off the trade game. So with 54 seconds left, it's on the attack team to start to make that move. And for Thermite and Thatcher, those moves could be cut short because this health is incredibly low.
That's right. Playing in that medical security kind of area around the site, right? That's not inside. That's protecting it. And I'm just a little bit worried about the fact that they've got this breach open on the if you're from the defending side, they've got that breach open, and no, the TK coming out. Good Lord, my friend, we've got to be cursed with the number of self-damage kills and utility we've seen today. That's wild.
Yeah, he's going to be kicking himself after that one, because now we find ourselves in a 2v1, and he's going to be the last alive, and unfortunately just not going to be able to get the job done. If he had the homie there, Clutter was on a tear. He found two in a row, going for the third when he accidentally took the teammate out. If the teammate isn't there and he finds the kill, this is a different round count.
Indeed it is. So There it is. 7-1 for Swift. 7-1 and 3. Swifted having a heck of a game to start this thing off. The UMBC side very balanced, but yeah, they have not been able to find any success after this first round. Just not finding a way to make it happen. So here we go. Starting off, back to the second floor. So this will be the third time we've seen it out of 5 rounds. It is certainly that favored site. Again, that first one, UMBC taking it. The second one, St. Clair taking it. So now they get the opportunity to go back after winning basement and that first floor bunk site.
Yeah, so they've each had a taste of it. They've each had a taste of victory there. Now, who's going to find the greatest adaptation? Kind of feels like the defense is bringing, I mean, not kind of. They're bringing the same exact thing. This is a dedicated strat here. And what we're seeing between these two teams is like that what you hear us talk about all the time that makes Siege so fun. This is a contemporary blend here, or a blend of contemporary and traditional Siege on these two teams. The old heads and the new heads type of situation, and you're seeing it play out here as well.
I was gonna say we were seeing Azami play downstairs in the basement, or doing some setup down there, and holding on to that warehouse side. That seems like a little bit of a change up, especially because she doesn't have any of that real vertical utility to try and take advantage of. But maybe making the push back up, going into reception, going downstairs. Yeah, she's just blocking off some of those entry points, but. Interesting that Azami was the one chosen to be downstairs and try and put in some of that work. You've got all of the right pieces in place, but this blitz making the push in again, Joe being devastating, and going to see whether or not they can pull off that same success they had on round 1.
That's right. Okay, so a little bit of damage on the blitz, but he survived. And look at this, the crawl up. If they don't know he's here, if they don't get a drone on this, then this could potentially be the play, especially because whatever blitz does, he's going to get in there quick, right? So if he runs right past it, it could be back shots for the blitz and then finding himself on a second.
We still got a minute 36 left. Working on making the push in upstairs. Ash taking the fight to Malusi. Yep, finally going to get it. Clutter taking that one. That's the opening pick here for the UMBC side, but it's quickly traded by Swifted. Continuing to pad that KD that he's got going. Terror going to take down Joe. That's the blitz. That's a big piece of it. So now you're stuck with, Brava has one more clutch left. They still have got a little bit of that utility. There's the ace. There's the striker. So they've got some stuff. Only one more frag grenade here. They got to get some kills to make this thing happen.
That's right. You said you cast a curse the Brava off the board, so that's going to put us into a 4v2 as Legion Goo goes into the Ace's foot. As he's trying to make this last bit of a push here. It's the long road. Right now, he does get the summon charge in there, but somebody's going to be there. That's the Azami to be able to stop those from opening that mirror window up. So Ace getting a little bit of damage, and now he's the last alive. Swings in on the MP7.
Wow.
But it's the crossfire set up. Yep. Just not going to be able to deal with it. Swifted, floating right now.
And if you're just joining us, I know we were adding a few extra viewers here to the Twitch stream to watch this UMBC St. Clair game, but this $4,000 LAN event taking place is a best of 2, and it is based on the round differential. Every single round counts. No trolling, no throwing, no overtime if you can avoid it. Stack and rack rounds and put the other team in the ground. We saw UMBC get 7-4 victory on Nighthaven, so that means St. Clair needs to at least match that, or hopefully go 7-3 to get themselves just a little bit of an advantage over top of UMBC, because that's really where this is going to count, right? As you go into all these seeding matches today, into the playoffs tomorrow, want to be stacked up against your best opportunity to push forward early in that, and that's more round wins. So between these two, right, we saw Vespa go 7-2 against Ohio State. They picked up that 5-round differential. So right now, these two teams much closer, which makes them sort of battling for the middle of the pack. So if you're a St. Clair fan, you want to see them just crush UMBC right now to pad that round count. If you're a UMBC fan, right, improve upon that 7-4 victory that you had on Nighthaven, which means not letting St. Clair take another round win.
Yeah, and this is going to be an important one, right? We know St. Clair is going to bring in that aggressive nature. They're going to, especially if they're up in the score line, they're going to be going for that quick action. They're going to try to put this one to bed, not just for the round differential, but as a bit of a redemption arc, right? So it's going to be a lot of damage done onto the cap can here as he finds himself at a 5 HP and a dream scenario. Still alive. It's a one-shot headshot game, right? So he can still be an impactful player. And, of course, his gadget is already down and in place. So the potential for him to still get some kills is huge. This is the frag leader, though. You don't want to see him taken out early.
It's interesting. We've seen St. Clair over the course of several rounds put a lot of utility in Mancon over on the warehouse side, right? In the basement, that's completely on the other side of the map away from the support lab side, right? Typically, you're seeing maybe stock or filtration somewhere as a main push here for the attackers, but this St. Clair, assuming they're making the warehouse side, and what we're seeing upstairs, that a lot of utility spent to get rid of Kinger. KZ's going to take that honor. So that's that opening pick. They've been trading back and forth on those, and so far St. Clair has done a better job converting the opening picks into round wins. But now is UMBC's turn, playing in the basement. This, the opportunity, my friend.
That's right. And so still as they take a lot of real estate up here, it's going to be gold to take down Swifted off the board, and that was big, right? That's the frag leader gone. And then now the body balance and the man advantage sits in the hands of UMBC, and they're going to find another one.
Okay.
Chase takes down Corey. This is looking pretty good here for the attack team to secure their second round. And if you're a UMBC fan or player, you're going to feel good about going into your defensive half on the standard split. And that's going to be Clutter and Joe to clean it up. We're going to call it another flawless round, Whiskey. That's the first half of the map done.
Okay, so when UMBC gets going and they get that attack set up the way that they want, win some of those initial engagements, flawless round. Both of their round wins, 1 and 6, were both flawless. 1 on the 2F, 1 on the basement. So they can and do get it done all over the place on this map, covering both the upper and lower side of it in a flawless round. So that to me is huge, right? They come out of the defensive half with that little bit of a mental boost. Man, you just shut down the St. Clair team flawlessly twice on your 2 attacking wins, which is the standard split, and you get to go into defense. You know what? In a 4-2 score line, I'd say it's feeling a little bit like St. Clair's a bit on the back foot. So UMBC got the upper hand. Time for the St. Clair to come out strong, push this team, get something special here to start off their attacking half.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's exactly what they're going to need because unless you got a strong attack team, layer is going to be just about impossible, right? So we're going to see on the side of the defense, much the same. Bandit to stop that breach from coming in. Rooney with that DMR for that long-range devastation. Azami, the architect, and change around the site just a little bit and slow him down with the Legion in the mirror. A couple of C4s on the board to boot to send him deep. On the side of the attack, going to see, we haven't seen too much gridlock of this today. A couple of times, of course. It's one of my favorite flank watch operators, right? It hurts you. It makes a ton of sounds when you're taking it off the board, and gun good, right? So gridlock on the board, and then it's going to be the Dokkaebi. It's a DMR battle on both sides.
I was going to talk about Dokkaebi because for sure it seemed like we didn't see UMBC. I don't think they ran Dokkaebi a single time. Yeah, you banned Jackal. No ability to do roam clear using Jackal on the St. Clair side, but Dokkaebi was available, and they really shied away from using her. Like, I'm surprised you went with Striker as opposed to the Dokkaebi in terms of, this ability to find where the St. Clair defenders were hiding. The St. Clair's going to take that opportunity, though, and run the Dokkaebi, bring the DMR, bring that roam clear. A little bit more worried about how UMBC was going to handle playing this thing out. And so far, they're all holding 2F locations. It's the first round. That's definitely what we would expect. And they've got the Thatcher Thermite combo, and I got to believe they're getting themselves set up, try and push in, maybe off the courtyard, maybe gain some of this operational side. You can see that's exactly where the drone intel is trying to push in.
It's crazy how many people are still outside of the map here as we get into the 120 area, right? Really taking their time to gather that information instead of just blindly rushing in to get the kill. Now, Will it prove to be impactful? That remains to be seen, because the problem is there's only 1:10 left on the board, and this attack team's going to have to get active.
They've got to get this. They've got to get this stature in place to try and take down some of these bandit batteries. I mean, it's preventing them from really getting any sight lines, getting anything happen. This does feel like it's coming together on the execute side a little bit too slowly. Yeah, you've got the Dokubi in place. Yeah, now you've got everybody sort of pushing in from this Mez side. There's that Thermite opening up one of the first pieces, but you got multitude of defenders looking right at that sight line.
That's right, and Dokubi's going to get taken off the board as Terra finds his head missing in the recent engagement. That's going to give the man advantage over to UMBC. Look for the trades. It's a couple of pre-fires through the windows. Blitz starts to make his way in. He's pivot. He hits a Legion. He's going to be dealt with immediately. Chase to find a second with the Vectors. Corey gets his head missing. Jock's going to take KZ down, but it's just going to be a 1, 2, 3. Good night. UMBC coming up clean on that one.
All right, so every round that UMBC wins is not going to be a flawless. That one they could pull off, at least in a little bit of the trade back and forth. But to me, that one was a little bit interesting that it felt like a very slow development of the execute from St Clair. Yes, they sort of, they made the push in, but did not realize that you had the mirror playing right up against the bomb chassis on R6, and you saw Blitz walk in and get shot in the back. That was for sure maybe a miss-drone, but definitely a miss in intel. So St. Clair takes that one down. We talked about if UMBC wanted to continue this, they needed to not let St. Clair win one more round. They started that clawback. That's 2 in a row for them, 1 on attack and 1 on their first defense here on Lair. St. Clair looking to change this thing up, but they're going to have to deal with a clash on defense this time.
That's right, and that'll slow you down. And couple that with the Malusi and the Rooney as well. I mean, you're putting yourself in a pace-setting defense here. So 1 to tie it up as they head down to the basement, taking 2F. And we're going to go ahead and look at the attack side of it. It's going to be a focus on that vertical whiskey, right? Ram and Buck. So a not surprising lack of sledge around, who we've seen like several times today.
We did see a push in from the blue stairs filtration area on the UMBC attacking side, and so that's how they're setting them up, right? You've got the deployable shield holding infiltration, watching that blue stairs push in to sort of prevent the quick push into support. But look at this Mav. I like this Mav setup they've got, looking into that hard breach wall from the exterior.
They do take Malusi off the board quite quickly, and that's going to be a Rooney to follow as the DMR battle reigns out, and Dokubi wins that one. It's some body shots onto Clutter. It's going to end Rooney's life. That's going to put us into a 5v3, but look at the time. That's the big part here. The attack now has several chances, or a long amount of time, to be able to redirect, right? Get themselves knowledge on where those defenders are going to be sitting at, specifically that Clash and that Warden. And of course, trying to hide from that C4, which of course he does put into his hand. He's ready to send it, and the attack's starting to move in. This could be a huge C4 if he's able to get it in the right spot.
Yeah, if you're seeing the defense sort of rotate back, falling back into Toxin, falling back into Lab with all of those orange outlines out, they're going to just go ahead and swing it. Yes, you're going to trade it out. Swift is going to take another, though, and pass up that 10-kill mark. Jock's going to find the last one on Seagull, and there it is, playing from above, taking down. So that's an attacking win for this team. Puts them 1 closer, and that eclipses the total they had on Nighthaven. So assuming they don't go to overtime, that's a little bit of a boost here for the St. Clair team to make that step. But I don't think they're content with that. They want to see the round win here, and maybe they can shut down UMBC with only 3 rounds. See how this one goes. I like the setup that we saw from UMBC. Just couldn't quite hold it together. I wonder whether or not the Clash was a good pick. They're gonna say, "Now let's run it back. We can do this better the second time."
I don't know about the Clash pick, right? And I don't mean to be negative about it, of course, but it just, if you're going to be going with some pace-setting operators, get somebody that can fight back, right? Get somebody like a Castle. That's what they need. Set up some key positions where you're going to start funneling these attackers into these spots where you want to take the engagements where it's most advantageous for you. So they are going to run it back, not afraid of it, and get it going. And on the other side of it, we're going to see, who we didn't get to see on Lair last time, is the Deimos is going to make an appearance. So doubling down on that roam clear duty is going to be Deimos and Dokkaebi. I love how often we're seeing that LMG of Finka coming back now, too. enough bullets to kill them all.
Yeah, it feels very reminiscent of the 2022 TSM, Bolo, LMG meta where, I mean, they were really unbelievable. We saw the big nerf and recoil happen after SI really rolling into the beginning part of year 8 that really completely shut it down, and it's taken all the way until year 9 till we've seen that resurgence come back. So yeah, Finka bringing it out, and that really nerfed Finka into the ground. We almost never saw her played as part of the competitive scene when that LMG nerf was really active, and now, like you said, making a comeback, bringing along the health, right? Valuing that extra health, 60 HP. She can keep herself alive long enough. You couple that with the Deimos, who can identify where all the roamers are, plus the Dokkaebi, and then prevent the flank watch from coming in. I think St. Clair's got a good lineup. The only thing potentially they're missing, EMPs, right? No Thatcher in this case to try and help open up those walls, relying on the nades either from the Deimos or from the Finka to try and clear out some of that utility.
That's right. And he gets himself onto a death mark failed.
Yeah.
Interesting. Not going to be able to grab that location. Instead, they're just going to start pushing in, right? And that's going to be the quick start to the trades there. His goal's going to take Swift down, finds his life forfeit. His Jock takes his head off. Does put us into a 4-4. That Finka boost coming in key here, getting everybody super stemmed here for this last part of the engagement.
I wonder if did the defensive operator walk into one of the electrified walls to kill the? I mean, typically you see the death mark failed during one of the during a mute jammer, but it must have been related to the electricity.
Yeah, something. We're going to have to go back and watch that back, find out exactly what it was. Write it down in our ranked books there, Mr. Run. Okay, 48 left on the board as we hit the frag zone. Grenades coming out. I'm going to try and push this Clash back, but not going to do any damage, of course. He's going to hold on to the doorway, making it just about impossible. Now, there's a couple of one-ways coming from the other side because they got the Kiva barriers. Going to make it difficult, and they still haven't dealt with the Legion up top, so the roam game's still heavy, and that's going to be Joe taking down.
Wow.
Joe taking down a second one down. He's looking for more as he's getting active on the backside, and that's going to put the pressure here on the St. Clair. So they now only have 2 left alive and 15 seconds, and no diffuser in hand. Misses the shots onto Azami, and that's going to basically seal up the rest of this round, barring any sort of absolute miracle. There's the first one needed, but he's going to miss it on the second. 3 seconds left. We're going to chalk this up to a defensive win.
Oh, yeah. Kinger gets that final shot on Joe, able to take him down, but that, holding on to stock, preventing the push into support, just had that thing on lockdown, grabbing a W. You know that's one of the favorite spots that the attackers like to push in because it's so close to the bomb chassis on support. But not going to happen. A little bit of a back and forth developing right after that 4 in a row from St. Clair. They were looking nigh unstoppable. Now, a little bit more evenly matched between these two teams. These two incredible teams. Like we said, this is the matchup we know you had all been waiting for, and right now it is delivering on Lair. Got to see a little bit more tension build up between these two. 4-5 as we head into round 10. We're going to roll into a tie game. We're going to see St. Clair move on to match point on attack. It's the tough part.
That's right, and it is all on the line here. Okay, so let's take a look at the defense. Nothing really to talk about as the changes are minimal and actually non-existent. This is the same lineup we've been seeing. Almost doesn't matter what the site is. And I like that in the fact that it's working, so keep working it, right? You don't change it unless it needs to be done. On the other side of it, double up on the hard breacher on that. Getting out the Thermite and the Maverick, couple that with the Thatcher. It's a classic setup.
Yeah, one of the things about the lineup not changing is it feels comfortable. But that's one of the things I think you see with the new map, right? We have not really seen Lair played very often. I don't know whether or not the teams are spending a lot of time developing strats for it, because it seems like most of the teams don't enjoy playing it because you don't have the strats that are set up. So, right, playing a lineup that feels comfortable, I think is natural as the map starts to develop in the meta. So as we see Lair played more and more often, I think we're going to see some more interesting setups from a defensive standpoint, some more interesting setups from an attacking standpoint. But already a little bit of change up, like you said, it this combination here. Look at this. Maverick, Thermite, Thatcher all piled up on this mask wall and going for the bandit, but I was going to say he was going to go for the trick, but with the Mav hole in place, he can't get himself right up against that wall.
Yep, so they're going to open up that breach, and then because there's so much time still left, Whiskey, they're going to be able to open up the backside as well and start to put some pressure. That multi-dimensional push that we talk about being so important on maps like Clubhouse. There it is, Swifted to find KZ off the board as he finds his head. That's going to be the Azami down. Now, that's huge because we're still with 1:30 left. That means all of the Kiba barriers were not deployed.
Yep, dying with utility in your pockets, you hate to see it for sure. That the Azami one definitely provides a lot of late round ability here to try and block some of that off. But I don't know whether or not they are going to go for the other half of that mask wall, but not realizing one of the defenders was playing in mezzanine. The C4 comes out. Chase able to down the Thermite as he makes the push up to try and open up that breach into mask, but cleared out both from Chase's gun and from the follow-up C4. And that shuts down that operational side push. We're going to see them rotate back into courtyard where they already had the wall open, but they have not been able to deal with the bandit at this point.
That's right. He stays tucked in the corner. He's ready for the swing. He's ready for the engagement. They're going to have to go for the plant here as 37 starts to ring out. But there's going to be the shot. Joe going to find Terror off the board. It puts us into a 4-3. Now the defense feels pretty secure. It's the mirror. Look how far back that thing is that he's able to still put that pressure on, especially with the bandit close to be able to make this swing. A little bit of panic starting to set in here for the attack team as 17 seconds rotates down. It's just bits and pieces. Crossfires. Clutter's going to take Swifted off the board. Goal to take Jocks now into a 4v1. Thatcher, the lone, the last. He's got the diffuser in hand, but it is a too little, too late scenario as they're going to be able to find another defensive win. And Whiskey, that's going to tie us up, baby.
Wow. You said walking into this, was it going to be a tie game? Was it going to be St. Clair going onto that match point? Tied up, my friend, and I did not expect anything different between these two teams, right? These two great teams tied up, going to take the timeout. St. Clair says, all right, we had the run 4 in a row, looking very good. Maybe you saw UMBC catch a few extras, got a little bit lucky there, but now timeout coming because they sort of lost that momentum.
That's right. What do you do with a timeout? It works in the same way that you see in every other sport, right? You sit down and you talk about what's going wrong. You talk about what they're bringing to the table. And because it's the same operators, like you're getting a chance to say, look, they're bringing this Azami every time. Why don't we bring in a Flores to help clear out that extension util? Or why don't we bring out, a Sledge who's going to use the combination of the hammer and the grenades? It gives you a second to talk about it. But really, it's that momentum stopper, right? We talk about the timeout buff all the time as being anywhere from what are we saying right now? 60, 65%?
Yeah.
65% of the time, the team that takes that timeout is going to be finding themselves on the round win on the very next round. Now, we've seen that decrease. It was sitting super high because we just didn't see timeouts like taken that often, but it is definitely started to become a thing is how impactful that it is.
That's right. So, tied up, round 11. Boy, neither one of these teams is really going to get a huge boost in the round differential, right? The best we can do at this point is 2, right? If you can get a 7-5 victory, that's a 2 round. If they take this thing all the way to double OT, that's a 2 round, right? At this point, now it's just who is going to get 2, and is it going to be 2 or 1? So, both of these teams doing a great job shutting it down and playing a great game of Siege that got us to this point. So Looking like UMBC is going to come out of this with the biggest round differential either way with that 7-4 victory on Nighthaven. So I'm glad that we're getting to see Lair because of how close this game is. And I know that these two teams are going to get a chance to meet again, fight this thing out potentially much later in this elimination bracket tomorrow.
That's right. And so already you're going to see Ace start getting set up here as he's going to open up that main wall, start to put some pressure on and allow them to facilitate potential for a plant. Doubling up on that verticality, though, right? Is the Buck and the Ram going to be utilized here? And that could be an above and below situation. But it looks like at the moment they're both sitting up top.
We did see the first floor bunks played much more often in that previous game with Cincinnati. That was played more often, certainly. Here, this is only the second time we're going to see that first floor site being played out. Once back on round 4 where St. Clair won it on defense, and here on round 11 where UMBC is trying to hold on to it. Talk about how important it is. R6 upstairs, you got 2 players on the defense. Combination of that Warden, Clutter playing the rampy spot up here in R6 to try and hold on and prevent that push in from the breach into bunks downstairs.
That's right. And only 2 people down in that, actually in sight. So the investment in the vertical game here being absolutely huge. They're going to start sending in some flashes here. It's going to be Ram to take some damage as she gets reduced to 55 HP. But Legion actually going to be the first taken down. Swifted yet again going to find that entry kill, putting him at that 12-5. Having a great game. They now maintain the body balance in favor of St. Clair. And they're going to find a second one here as Jock's going to take down KZs. They're in the hunt for that match point scenario, but it gets answered back. Clutter, not to be outdone, 9-6, trying to find himself into that double-digit range, but Jock's going to take him down as well as the headshot rings out. It's now a 4v2 Whiskey. The pressure for the defense really starting to become tangible, right? You can feel the drama starting to build up here as St. Clair's looking to put themselves on that match point scenario.
You got 35 seconds left, but you still have to get the attacking team downstairs onto that first floor to be able to put pressure. Yes, you got to hold the vertical, but that means somebody got to put themselves in harm's way downstairs to make that happen. And who's it going to be? Right now, looking like Ram. And losing 1. 18 seconds left, my friend. The 20-second meta seems long.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now they start to make the push in through the doors, and that's going to be Terror to take Chase off the board. And that's the plant starting to go down now as Smoke going to find himself no smokes to stop this. So it is going to be a post-plant scenario as it's attempting a retake in from the security area. A couple of pre-fires going through, holding the angle, but not giving him much as he's in that prone, pwned, and owned position, and he's going to find it. Terror to take down Joe on the body shots. And that's going to chalk one up for the attack.
That's right, and that is first time we're seeing match points here between these two teams on layer. Round 12. Like we said, the best they can do, +2. St. Clair's got to shut it down right now on attack to be able to gain that. Otherwise, my friend, you're going to see some overtime rounds between these two teams. Look at that. 4-2, 1-2-1, back and forth between these guys. And not even sure which one is going to be the team that's going to hit it this time around. I like this setup from the defensive side, again, with the exception maybe of the Clash. I don't think we were getting the value out of Clash. We've already seen this attacking team win too, right? They've already got their quota here, if you want to call it the defensive-sided map. If they can find one more, maybe off the back of the Clash, we'll see. They were pretty successful down in the... I was going to say St. Clair was successful down in the basement, 1. UMBC won in the basement on attack. And then back on round 8, St. Clair won basement on attack. 9, UMBC. So the basement really, this is the site that has gone back and forth. 50-50, no one with an advantage yet. This is the opportunity to see whether or not who is going to be just slightly more dominant on basement here on Lair.
Okay, getting started, right? It's an operator lineup that you've seen before. No surprise that's here. You're going to start hearing that thermite charge open
early.
up the wall quickly. Yeah, You're going to try and maybe just hold that angle. Have the patience to be able to catch somebody rotating back to side, because that first entry, and we've seen Swifted on it a lot. In fact, he's on the Finca now. He's got an LMG in his hands, enough bullets to kill them all, and I find that idea very formidable, right? So if they can find that early entry yet again, then this could be over.
Yeah, that's right. The open up there into the warehouse. We were seeing this UMBC team spend a little bit of time in utility and operators holding down the warehouse side, even though it's so far on the other side of the map compared to Labs. But look at this. It looks like we had 4 of the St. Clair team making the push in. One's going to go upstairs as they try and just gain a little bit of space, walking horizontal over here in the basement, gaining some sight lines with the map in addition to that thermite. So expect we're going to see them, right on, only halfway through this round, gaining a lot of space horizontally in the basement. And right now, the Gridlock making a push up those yellow stairs as well.
That's right. Defense completely bunkered back down now as every single member headed down to the basement. That's going to be the Legion Goo, as you see a little bit of damage going on to the Dokkaebi there. But do have the Finca, going to give them that global gadget boost, take them up to the half health scenario. So everybody's still alive. We're going to see another one, Whiskey. It's going to be another 20-second meta, and I think the Clash is helping facilitate that.
Yeah, that's right. She's holding down that door from I think it's from lockers into like that missile hallway, just preventing anyone from trying to make that push in. The Mav, he's opened up a few of the holes, but there it is. I mean, yeah, lockers just cannot make any push in from lockers into lab, right? Just she's blocking this, holding it off, preventing the push over, and that's a really important doorway. Otherwise, you got to go through missile, go through toxin to gain a little bit of space in there. You got Warden playing that spot as well. So look at this.
Oh, what a beautiful
combo play.
When it gets traded out, right? All of a sudden, we're in a 4v3. This is the DMR of Clutter going to take down Kinger, but it gets traded out, and all of a sudden, Joe to find the hit on Corey is going to take us into a 2v1.
What?
Oh, no, on a match point scenario with 11 seconds left. Calling Joe to take it. Defenders barely hang on to that one. Jesus.
The double from Joe at the end sends us to overtime, my friend. Round 13. We were not content with just a normal amount of rounds in the game of Siege. We're going to see them all play out. What a clutch up there from Joe to prevent the UMBC team from going down that double round counts. And now they got opportunity to limit it to 1 or come back and steal this win away from St. Clair. And that one, my friend, was just about as close as you could get. I thought for a second, and it was just about a second, that St. Clair had that thing in the bag before it fell apart under the guidance from that clutch up from Joe.
That's right, Joe on the double. Call him, he'll be there. Make the trouble double. Okay, so overtime on Lair. It doesn't get much better than this. On the defense side, you've seen it. They're going to bring the same stuff back at it. Now, we've been seeing it's been mostly that defensive-sided map there. And so feeling like that potentially takes that into UMBC's favor.
Absolutely. And you know what? Here at the LAN, in addition to some energy from the players, in addition to some energy from the environment, we're also getting it outside. I mean, the people off the street are interested in the game of Siege here at the Butler Esports Arena. And I'm interested too, man. 6-6. Who is it going to be? Who is the team that's going to find this next, just all they need, a little bit of an advantage to push it down? And it is so close between these two. Now, we got nearly a minute into this round, taking it a little bit slower, right? Sometimes we've seen them go, like thermite going off in the first 20 seconds of the round. This time, they're working on it here 30% of the way into the round. That first minute done, still not charge open, still no sight line in. You do have Blitz, primed, prepped, and waiting, though, from Jocks, just waiting for that cue to make the push in.
That's right. And I kind of like this a little bit better, right? Going to take a second to think about it and really establish the whereabouts of where these defenders are going to be at. That way you can get yourself into that 3-2-1 mentality where everybody is set up, and then the collapse on the site makes it impossible to defend against. So Ace going to start opening up the wall from the backside as they double up on that hard breach. Couple of shots through, not going to find anything on the pre-fire. He's going to get himself into prone position to try and fight again there, and that's going to be a Kiva barrier taken down.
That's that operational side push, right? You're seeing the ace make the sight lines in. Doe could be trying to cover it, right? You need that as part of the push in to gain some control on mask. They do have the open sight on, or the open wall from courtyard in, to be able to provide that crossbar, so that way Bandit can't be trying to trick it. Then you got the Dokkaebi in, identify where these roamers are playing, and now all they really got to do is try and deal with maybe those mirror windows that have that long angle back from server. That's back where that's at, man, she's all the way back in R6.
Yeah, so Joe and Clutter now on that double-digit kill mark. They're both able to find a couple of kills apiece. Swifted
Wow.
answer back.
No.
So he takes
Whoa.
Joe, but it's Swifted alive. He's got to put himself on pace for the ace here to bring this back. And it has been all defense all day on Lair.
Yeah, that's right. Just barely finding those 2 wins. I guess, we said that when UMBC was hot, they got those 2 flawless on attack. So I think rolling into the St Clair defense, I think puts them at a little bit of a disadvantage. When UMBC was hitting, they were hitting hard, and no way he goes down to the Aruni gate. No.
Oh, add a little insult to the injury there as he's getting shot as he walks through the door, and he's going to pay the price gadget style. I love seeing the little markers coming up on the top right of the screen.
Those do damage, by the way, he says. All right.
That's a good point.
We said if UMBC, I guess, when UMBC was hitting it on attack, they come up flawless. But St. Clair also managed to shut them down for 4 in a row and really hold on to a significant advantage of the first half of this map. So here, who's it going to be? St. Clair can continue that dominance they showed during the first half, or are we going to see this little bit of back and forth, this like cutting down piece by piece? We are going to see the top floor. We talked about how that basement was really, the 50-50 map, UMBC edging it out just a tiny bit. In terms of the 2F site, it's a little bit more defensive sided. We saw 1 attacking win. That was round 1 on that 2F site. Since then, we haven't seen an attacking team take the 2F site. So if there's a team that could do it, though, UMBC, maybe a little bit of siege poetry, take round 1 on the 2F, take round 14 on 2F to close this thing out. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was kind of thinking, looking at the lineup here on attack, that we might see something of a bit of a quick nature. But there's Brava, right? Brava's going to be a little bit slower. Get in and take some of those gadgets. Specifically, it's the Malusis, right? It's those Banshees that make it so difficult to get in. And yeah, you could do it for the Bandits, of course, but generally waiting on an EMP for something like that. And the Grim course did bring, well, that's unfortunate. Grim did.
You literally just said Grim's name and he gets shut down by Swifted.
Dang it. Caster Curse going to take Grim off the board. And that is now going to put us into a 5v4. St. Clair having the man advantage here. They're looking to try to take this one all the way.
I mean, they got to, right? You've got to hold on. They're already down 5 rounds in the round count after that Nighthaven 7-4 victory. So they've got to hold on, take the win, and get at least 1 to try and cut that down to a 4-point lead between this UMBC team, try and hold on to that space. Now, both of these teams, heavy favorites in the tournament, and whether or not they go and play some of the weaker opponents, perceived weaker opponents in the next couple rounds, try and help push one of these 2 teams to the forefront of their group standings. But right now, this battle between them is it's a knockdown drag out, and here we are. We're still early on in this evening of Siege. We've got 2 more rounds to go.
Yep, Clutch Drone going to get taken down. Means some of those Banshees are going to be ended up staying exactly where they're at. And that's going to be that is going to be the Azami taken down, and Legion going to be able to follow it. So now all of a sudden, no, TK, but it was down on the player that was already down, right? So not a huge loss, but that is the body bounce tipped in favor of UMBC here. And as it starts to wind down, it's KZ to take Corey on the headshot. All the beef coming out here on this potential final round. It's 48. Diffuser not in hand, however. Nobody's got it. They're going to have to try to just push up and get the kills, and it's going to be a pistol pop and body dropping as now Bravo's going to be able to facilitate this plan. It's the Yin Candelas. They're sending them in. It's chaos. It's a post plant. That is going to be Jocks to find Joe off the board, and that's the big one. That's the blitz gone. Still has 2 Candelas, which is going to make this part extremely difficult to try and counter against as she's holding them in the hands potentially, right? And that's going to be a double kill. Hello? What? Jocks now into a 1v1 as they're opening up, but it's going to be the Aussie Rappel. He's going to find it. He's going to secure it, and they're going to take that map, and they're going to take both, right? They're going to take 2 on that, and that was looking like we were going to potentially see the comeback here, right? All of a sudden, he just started, every time he took a shot, somebody died, and he took the really important ones off the board, except for the last.
We talked about, I suppose we didn't talk a ton about the beef between these two teams, between Jocks and KZ, and it really felt like we were about to see, that come to life in the game of Siege there. The 1v1 coming down to it in overtime, round 14, but UMBC comes up with a win, 8-6 victory. That's a 2-round differential to add to their 5 they got on that 7-4 victory on Nighthaven. So right now, looking like UMBC's got a little bit of an edge over the St. Clair team. But I got to say, in the way that game was played out, fantastic between these two. Really great to see how this was played out, and I can see why both of these two teams are right now slated to be some of the best in that seeding match tomorrow. So, and some of the favorites to win the tournament. $4,000 on the line.
Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at, right? That's a good amount of money. That's going to cover some tournaments, maybe a little tuition cost here. Not very much.
All right, now we did hear that production's telling us we have got an interview. So, come on over, my friend.
Yucks.
All right, Joe, congratulations. Huge W there. Got a little dicey towards the end. What was the mindset going into those last final few rounds?
I think there's not a single defense that we lost that we didn't give them a pick. Like, they weren't doing anything. It was the same thing on Nighthaven. You guys didn't watch it. Like, none of you guys saw it. We lost 3 defenses, 3 attacks. The 3 defenses, someone died in the first 30 seconds. The 3 attacks, or I guess the 3 wins, no. That was kind of funny, dude. We kind of wanted to win that one. They came in yesterday, they came in today, and they were talking about, like, meeting us in grand finals. The group was just us 2, like, and they're just, like, tossing teams aside. And I'm like, dude, we haven't played a round of Siege yet. Like, what are we talking about grand finals for? So, and before that first game started, they were, like, trying to, like, get under the skin of one of our players. It's not cool, man. Play the game, man. Just play the game. Play the game.
Mental could be part of it, right? Get in and try
Play
to
the game, man.
He said play the game. Pro strat. You heard it here first, folks.
We left that off the discussion for most of the map and let the Siege tell the story, and you guys came out strong there. So 2 maps. If it's not St. Clair, who is? You have one of these other teams that you guys are worried about?
There's a bunch. Yeah, there's a bunch. Cincinnati's good. Akron's good. Columbia did pretty decent. Like, I know they split maps with Akron. Even Vespa, like, playing with their subs, like, they dog walked OSU in their first map. I don't know how the second one's going, but, like, they dog walked them on the first one. So it's like, there's plenty of good teams. It's just kind of like, you kind of can't, like, really approach any of these games, especially on land. Like, you're seeing these people, like, they're right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, if the best team always won, like, you wouldn't play the game.
Yeah,
no point.
That's true.
So there's a reason we're playing it.
Mm-hmm. Man, all the magic happens at land. That's the dang truth.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole different atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you walk us through Lair. Are you worried when you're getting into it and like maybe the scoreline isn't necessarily reflecting how you feel your gameplay is going? Are you guys stuck like the same operators like the entire time? Is this just a comfort pick because it's Lair, or is this like dedicated strat?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I kept ego picking Bandit. Like, they kept running mad, but, like, the MP7 was just feeling good. So it's like, I just kept running it. Like, I just kept killing people. And then the Blitz, like, all they did was play Legion around it. Like, they didn't really do anything to actually, like, they just stacked all of them on display window.
Mm-hmm.
that's not really, the only place you can hit. As you saw, like we noticed, like we lost our pick. Our whole play was just to EMP all the stuff and hop in through there. Then our EMPs died. We're like, okay, that's probably not the great thing. And then the Azami just was ego trying in the middle of ops. Like, I don't know. It's just like, they tried, I think, to counter strat us a little too hard. And we kind of just like floated around a little bit. I think that was kind of our mentality, was kind of just adjust to what they're doing because they're just hard countering what we're doing. And if we keep running the same ops, we know how they're going to hard counter us,
Oh, yeah.
So we try and like bait that we're doing the same thing. Once we realize how they're trying to do it, that's when we kind of make our adjustments. And I mean, that's when it started working, is when we started to make those adjustments.
Yeah, absolutely. The
We didn't get to
mid-round
see the
adaptations.
map bans. Was that the map you guys wanted to play?
Dude, they ban the same maps every time in the same order. Like it was, I think I did some prep work like on all the teams, like going through the map bans. And, like we had like a little spreadsheet, like to like put in all of the map bans for every single team. I think St Clair was the one team. Like I just started doing it and I just looked at like the faceit logs and it was the same maps in the same order every single, like we knew what we were playing like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like we knew what was going on with that. So,
Plenty of time to prep for later.
oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever. So, question I like to ask everybody towards the end of the interview. It's kind of a fun little deal. If you could ban an operator forever, never coming back, who are you taking off the board?
I don't think any.
None?
I don't think any. I feel like the game right now, like there's a few before, like Fen was annoying, but like that's better now. Solus was busted. I mean, I think shields right now are a little like not great. Like I think Blitz having melee prio isn't great. They also used to slow down when you shot at them. So I think shields maybe, but like I don't know. I just think they're a little easy.
Yeah.
Like playing Blitz and playing Monty, like they're so low skill, and it kind of is like an equalizer for teams. But at least on the defense side, I think they've done a good job of like making a zombie not super strong, Solus, Fen, like all those super busted ops. Like I think it's fun right now. Besides shields, but like just ban them.
Yeah, but nobody wants to play against shields.
We've
anyways.
definitely heard that right now it feels like Siege is in a very balanced
Oh,
mode
yeah.
and probably one of the best states it's been. I think people are pretty happy with it.
All right.
Glad to hear that too.
Any words for anybody watching?
No, man.
No.
Keep watching, I guess.
That's right.
No, it's a great land. Thanks, Butler. This is actually awesome. I think a lot of people at first weren't really happy about, them inviting all the top tier comp, but like this, at least so far, like I know the PC issues were a thing, but like it's ran so well. The venue's nice, like everybody's good, and the comp's great. So like I guess thanks to Butler for putting it on. This is great. It's
That's
awesome.
right. Yeah,
Indeed.
absolutely. You heard it here first, folks. Okay, well, that's a couple of maps. We got a couple more coming at you, so sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're going to bring in another map. Ayo.
Let's go.
Thank you for watching. For more updates, follow the Butler Esports socials at Butler Esports.